Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we are discussing the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Yacht Master 16623 in yellow gold and stainless steel. This model, which is a D serial number built in the mid-2000s, represented one of the last hurrahs of the 5-digit reference Rolex sports watches, and it wears easily, classically styled and wonderfully graceful on the wrist. It even has a hollow center-link bracelet and a stamped clasp that'll take you back, but it is a modern Rolex, and that's the contradiction and inherent appeal of this generation of the Yacht Master. It's like wearing a new vintage watch. 40 millimeters in diameter on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. It's far thinner than the Sub. The Sub 12.2, this 11.6. Now the Yacht Master launched in 1992 as the execution of a design study originally intended to be an upscale luxury next-gen Sub. Instead, the two watches were released complementary rather than sequentially one as the replacement for the other, so both of them exist, and the Yacht Master is richer in design and detail than the Sub. It's also a little bit more discreet in its proportions. The Sub 48 millimeters lug to lug, this one 47.3, but when you include the solid end links of the bracelet, and it does have solid end links, it has a more robust 54.3 millimeter stance across the wrist. So I would say you're probably okay wearing this watch on a wrist as small as 14 to 14.5 centimeters circumference. The spacing between the lugs is 20 millimeters if you do wish to accessorize with a strap. Now I mentioned that this is a hollow center-link bracelet, and again, this design and this model rumbled on into the 2010s. It was a survivor from a previous era of Rolex design and fabrication, and you can see that daylight through the center links of the bracelet, but it's a beautifully finished piece with a little bit of nostalgic Rolex rattle. Not too much because of the solid end links, but it is lighter on the wrist than a modern Rolex bracelet. And you can see that the removable links are fixed by screws as ever, and the clasp, again, a little bit of a throwback, a stamped clasp, and the interior of the clasp body featuring several different anchoring points, so you can actually change the stationing of the bracelet inside the clasp to make fine-tuning adjustments. Close it all up, it retains all of its original tolerances, still crisp. You can see that it has a straight-through yellow gold slash, so the straight-through yellow gold being something that would come into play through the 1990s in sequence over a series of Rolex models, but always present on the Yacht Master. And moving back towards the case, you can see that the case is a little bit more finely defined than a modern Supercase GMT or Rolex Sub, and it has compound curves, it has a gentle taper at the end of its lug, there's a little bit of a flatted footing underneath the lug on both sides. It's more like a Datejust, a Date-8, or a Daytona compared to the rather industrial execution of a modern Submariner. So you can see that contrast fairly distinctly. You can also see that with a full gold bezel, the Yacht Master has always been one step beyond the level of opulence available. Even on a full yellow gold Rolex Sub, you get a yellow gold bezel, but you get a ceramic insert. On the Yacht Master, you get full gold. And it's bidirectional rotating because you may use it to time the start of a match within a regatta. So if you're counting down to a match, the start of a sailboat race within a regatta, which is a series of sailboat races, it doesn't really matter which way you turn your bezel. This isn't life-saving equipment when you're high and dry above the waves on the deck. So it's not a unidirectional rotating dive bezel, but you can still use it to time increments up to 60 minutes. And I find these are always more useful than mechanical chronographs, which only read up to 30 minutes on most chronograph registers and require big layouts for service down the line. A bezel? No service costs effectively. Moving inboard, you can see, by the way, how beautifully executed is this bezel with the blasted center and then the relieved indices and numerals. Handsome. The dial, an intense gold sunburst with black on gold printing and just a shock of red at 6 o'clock. Yellow gold applique indices and yellow gold hands at center. And by the way, the maxi style oversized indices appeared first on the Yacht Master before they gradually broke into the Sub family with the 2003 Kermit anniversary, the original green Submariner. But that feature first seen on the Yacht Master. Cyclops eye magnifier with a faceted frame, and you can see a metallic disc below to match the dial tone, an upscale flourish. On the flank, you can see a triplock crown with 3 dots. That's unexpected because the 100-meter Rolex watches typically feature a twin-lock crown. The fact that this is a triplock with the sealing that entails suggests that the 100-meter water resistance rating might be there purely to preserve the honor of the Submariner. I suspect this watch is far more than 100 meters water resistant. Screwed-in Oyster-style caseback, Rolex manufactured caliber 3135, bidirectional winding, 28.8 beat rate, 48-hour power reserve, COSC certified Swiss chronometer, a manufactured caliber with stop seconds and a quickset date, free sprung balance with a full balance bridge for shock resistance, and an overcoil Breguet hairspring for concentric beating in any orientation with respect to gravity. That's how this 31 jewel movement earns its chronometer certificate. Excellent timekeeping in any orientation, and so it will be on your wrist. See this dream and make it yours on the watch box. Rolex Yacht Master 16623 with gold dial, but green by night.